County Cork. You may have heard of Vera. She did an amazing journey from Cork to Dublin, a walk to campaign for 6-year-old Ava, her daughter, who has a severe condition called Dravet syndrome. And the reason she was doing that is that the only long-term treatment for that is cannabis oil. As you were, it would have been heretofore illegal to be using it. But in a major report published last Friday by Mr. Simon Harris, he's recommending that medicinal cannabis be made available to patients in exceptional circumstances. Vera, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eamon. How are you?
I'm good, Vera. How are you? Tell me.
Not bad at all. We're good again today, in fairness, not too bad.
Vera, can you just explain for our listeners, and I may be mispronouncing Dravet syndrome, is that right?
No, that's perfect,
okay.
yeah.
What exactly is it, and how does it affect your 6-year-old girl?
Dravet is an intractable form of epilepsy, which basically means it's drug resistance. And in our case, we went through 11 different forms of tablets for Ava to try and ease her seizures, and they just didn't work. You might have a little bit of relief for a couple of days or maybe a week or something like that, but then what happens is the seizure activity breaks back through the medication every single time. And when we began, Ava was diagnosed at 4 months of age, and we started with our first medication then, and we kind of thought, well, if she was on 2 or 3, well then definitely if you're on 3 medications, it has to stop some of the seizures, but unfortunately it didn't. And one point we were on 5 medications morning and night, and we continued along down the road with all these tablets, but Ava wasn't improving, and she was getting 10 seizures a day, 20 seizures a day. It varied dramatically, and when I say 20 in a day, I would mean the big ones, the tonic seizures, yeah.
And can you describe to me, Vera, what your daughter goes through when a seizure happens?
Well, I mean, when Ava has a seizure, like, if you haven't witnessed an epileptic seizure yourself, you would probably have seen one to some effect on the television. Ava's muscles would spasm and shake. Her whole body would stiffen. She would be in that seizure for maybe 2 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 40 minutes. It varied dramatically. The length of Ava's seizures. But when Ava would come out of her seizure, she was, her ability to speak has improved dramatically since she began the CBD oil, but she would be close to non-verbal, so Ava wouldn't be able to tell you how she suffers, but she would have terrible headaches and terrible aches and pains from her muscles going into such a severe spasm, so to have a small little girl, 4, 5, 6 years of age, have 20 of those seizures in a day, it's terrifying, because Ava could be brain damaged, she could come out of it paralysed, she could end up in a wheelchair because of the seizures. All of these things are very realistic.
It's a horrific scenario for you. And Vera, tell me, how did you discover that cannabis oil could make a difference? Well,
we were very quietly and kind of, I suppose, privately carrying on with Ava and the Dravets and everything. And, we trusted in our doctors that they would find a medication to ease the seizures. But, of course, we weren't after taking in the diagnosis, I suppose, fully, and the idea that it was drug resistant. So, because there's so few people with it in Ireland, I suppose, it's one in about every kind of 50,000 births would be diagnosed with the Dravet. We were looking to the likes of England and to Canada and places for other families that had kids with the Dravet, and we began to see people that we had become friendly with beginning to use medicinal cannabis to treat the seizures with great effects. So I started looking into it, and to be honest with you, when I started off first, I wouldn't know anything about cannabis at the beginning, and I thought I'll very quickly find that this is not what it seems. But of course, it is what it seems, and the thing is, it's a very, very effective treatment with masses and masses of research after being done on the medicinal cannabis in other countries around the world, like Israel, Germany, America, obviously Canada is hugely well informed in it. And we continued along, and we were then still trying with the different pharmaceutical medications. But in October 2015, our doctor told us there was no more alternatives for Ava. And I said to the doctor, well, then what do you want me to do? She said, take her home. And, Ava had been in a coma at this stage. A month after the doctor told us about there being no medications left, Ava had 18 seizures in 8 hours that time, and she had a cardiac arrest. And like I said to Paul at this stage, we have to do something, because otherwise we're going to lose Ava. Like, she's going to be gone. She can't sustain this. Yeah. So we started contacting the TDs and the newspapers and the television, anyone and everyone we could think of. We started the petition on change.org.
That's right. And you went to Dublin, didn't you? Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, we got in touch with Simon Harris in May of 2016. Yeah, 2016, May of 2016. And it went through the summer then they made great promises, but very little happened. And at the end of September, we got a hold of Charlotte's Web, which is the CBD oil, and Ava started the CBD oil in October. And like I said now to you, Eamon, Ava could have had maybe 400 or 500 seizures in a month, right? Ava began the oil on the 1st of October, and she had 5 seizures in the whole month. And that was it.
Oh, look, Vera, that is absolutely great news, and we're delighted to hear that. And thank you for giving us that story and taking our call. That's Vera Twomey, Barry, mother of 4 from Cork, hearing about her 6-year-old daughter there, Ava. Listen to us here on Daysha today.